Welcome to Technology with Mike. This show is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network at techpodcast.com. If it's tech, it's here. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook at audiblepodcast.com/techwithmike. Over 75,000 titles to choose from for your iPod or MP3 player. Visit audiblepodcast.com/techwithmike for your free book today. And now for your host, Mike Tartaglia. Hello, it's time for Technology with Mike. From Central Massachusetts, I am Mike Tartaglia. Welcome to the show. I'm here to make technology and the internet easier to understand. This is show number 88, recorded on Friday, June 24th, 2011. Thank you, everyone, for listening and downloading the show each and every week. It's great to see the stats go up. You know, sometimes they go down. You never know. But depending on the topic, and I think today's topic is going to, we'll see the ratings go up a little bit, I think, because it's a great topic. But to reach us, you can reach us on email at techwithmike@gmail.com. You can also follow us on the social media super site, chumly.com, chumly.com/techwithmike. And our Facebook fan page at facebook.com/techwithmike. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes or go to our video site at techwithmike.mevio.com or visit our website at techwithmike.com. You can also send us a voicemail. Yay, voicemail, such an old technology nowadays, right? You can send us a voicemail. Our phone number is 508-372-0123. That's 508-372-0123. Leave us your show suggestions, your comments on the show, or if you just want to say hi. I might not be able to call you back, but hey, if you ever give a question that I might want to play on the show, I might just do that. Okay, so I have a really interesting service or guest on today. His name is Chris Hopen, the CEO of Homepipe.net. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
Good, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. This is I'm excited about this service because I always like to see these new cloud-based services out there, or not even really a cloud-based service. Maybe you can explain what is Homepipe.
Sure. What Homepipe is all about is it's a hybrid cloud service that allows you to, in effect, take all of your content with you from any mobile device. So we make your content available and we allow you to share it privately from wherever that content exists. So there's no uploading like in the case of cloud storage. Everything that we have that we put in the cloud is really about making your content available via a web browser, via Android, iOS, iPad, any tablet-based device. And so the goal is that whatever device you're carrying with you or you happen to be able to be using at the time, you always have your content with you and available, whether you want to push some of that content up to Facebook, whether you want to, it's business content and you want to share it with someone. The whole goal is that it's safe and secure, available storage that you own and you control.
So when you were thinking about, I read your bio. So next time you were thinking about, what's my next business venture I'm going to do, what problem did you see that needed to be solved for to come up with Homepipe?
Well, if I was kidding, I would say that the problem was that I didn't want my mother-in-law calling me, asking for photos of the grandkids again, and sitting at home on a Saturday afternoon trying to figure out which photos she wanted and attaching them one email at a time so that she could have the latest and greatest pictures of her grandkids, and that always gets a chuckle out of people. But truthfully, what we found is that the amount of information inside of the home network continues to grow at an astronomical pace. And that's why we really started first and the company's name's Homepipe. We started first with the home because we found that north of 90% of people's content never leaves the home network, and therefore it never gets shared. And so what we were trying to do is not only create. There was a lot of people who tried this in the past, creating what you could call maybe a personal access service or a personal access solution or something like that. And what we wanted to try to do was invert the model and really make it extend like the capacity of your mobile device, and make it so that you always had that content no matter where you were. Some people also refer to what we do as like content shifting.
Okay.
There were people who said things like, "Hey, let's like the Slingbox folks, Sling Media, where early on would say, let us place shift your DVR content, right?" And so what we do is we content shift, in effect, and so you can shift content into a Starbucks or to your mobile device, and so that's kind of the technology foundation, and really how we got started was the mobile devices were great a lot of times when you were on Wi-Fi, or you had to sync whatever content you wanted on that device, but there wasn't really anything great out there that really worked well over 3G, 4G, and while you were out on the wide area wireless networks.
So does this work on 3G?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay, so let me get this straight. So you can get access. Is it any document or a specific type of documents?
Yeah. So we're not like we're not photo-centric. It's really allows you to get to any sort of business documents. So any of the office suites, we don't really care about content type unless we try to do something special with it. Like if it's music content, we'll actually stream that content all securely. Everything is all encrypted from end to end, and so music streaming, video, everything that's transferred is all transferred encrypted from endpoint to endpoint. Without moving, you don't have to move your content or put it up in the cloud or put it into somebody else's hands.
Well, that's very interesting that you say music streaming, because all the things that are happening now in regards to the cloud services that you actually store your music, like Google Music Beta, this Best Buy is coming out with a music service, and iCloud coming out in the fall. All these new things, everything's like all of a sudden after Apple announces that, everybody just tries to get their service out first. You notice that? I don't know if it's a coincidence or what. I guess the first person out is going to win. But we're not storing with this service. You're not storing anything on your servers. You're almost like a proxy, right?
Exactly. The use case, if you go back and you kind of take it back to the 10,000 foot level, the use case that we were really trying to get to, which you kind of hinted on, what were these different things that we were thinking about early on that we wanted to try to recreate or make better or improve. One of the things in the music space that we really didn't find any good alternative for was, back when everybody was buying CDs, you had your plastic of the week, that you would buy, and you had it in your car or wherever wherever you were listening to it. And a lot of times, I'm sure you're the same way I was, it was like, hey, you trade these, chunks of plastic with your friends and say, hey, listen to this for a week, right? Give it back to me next week when you see me, right? There's no way, obviously that didn't violate anybody's copyright laws as long as you weren't ripping it, right? You were just throwing it in your CD player, you were listening to it for the week, and then you give it back, right? And so there was no logical equivalent of that in the true electronic way, right? And a lot of that was, a lot of the music sharing, got a bad name with all the P2P networks because that one, that would get ripped, and that one copy would end up on 10,000 servers in about 45 seconds around the globe, right? And so what we were really trying to do is create this scenario where, hey, I want to share this new CD with you, and go ahead and use it while I'm not using it, right? And so that's kind of that closed, private, sharing capability that we have today. And it doesn't matter if it's business content, or it could be musical content, or it could be video, what have you.
Oh, that sounds interesting. That's a whole new way of sharing.
Yeah, definitely.
So on what types of devices can the content be accessed through?
Yeah, so if you talk about like content sources where we have a small component that's our Homepipe desktop component that'll run on Mac OS X, runs on all flavors of Windows, including Windows Home Server, runs on 32-bit Linux and 64-bit Linux. And so you will see a lot more from us in the second half of this year around content sources. And since we cover most of the business and work-based machines and home-based machines, you can probably look for us to do more, I guess, outside of that, and being able to use and consume and share content that resides in other places. It could even be inside of, call them CRM systems or ERP kinds of systems, and places where, professional consumers, store content and need to access content today. And then on the top level, in terms of the end user devices that we support the 4 common web browsers, and then we're on Android, we're on iOS, and we're on Windows Phone 7 today.
Nice.
So the big gap is for us, it's probably on the RIM platform, but
I think there's a big gap there for everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
nowadays
it's a tough. I mean, RIM's kind of going through a transition right now with their operating systems, as you probably know.
Yeah.
And so that for us, just being a small startup, and growing company, it's just hard for us to really, have to support 2 different OSs there.
Yeah, RIM's not doing too hot, but they had their time.
Yep.
So let's get down to business then. What is the damage? What's the cost to the users?
So on the did you say on the bandwidth side?
Well, in regards to if I want to sign up, well, I already am signed up. But if someone wants to sign up, how much is it going to cost them? Is it monthly? Okay. Whatever.
Yeah. So today we have a free version that you can use the service up to 10 times a month. There really aren't any feature restrictions today. It's just we say if you stop using the product for a period of 2 hours or more, then the next time you use it is going to be counted as another use.
Okay.
And so there were some other products in the market that were much more in the access space that got a reputation as being an insurance policy, that you just paid this service so that you could always have access and always go back and reach it in case of emergency. And so we're definitely not trying to do that. If people want to use us that way, then maybe they should just use our free product. And so that's what that version's there. We call it our light edition. The standard edition is a $23.99 today. You'll probably see some promotional pricing coming up that'll be discounting that.
Oh, that's per year. That's per year.
What we wanted to do was try to keep it less than an ATM fee, a month. Right? We felt like, hey, if you could get it under an ATM fee a month, wouldn't it be valuable to have all of your content with you all the time and accessible?
Well, yeah.
So that's kind of where the price point is right now.
Yeah, $23.99 is not a lot of money per year.
Yeah.
And that's unlimited uses. I'm looking at the website now. Oh, that's
great. Unlimited use, unlimited amount of sharing.
And I see you also have like group and enterprise offers as well, which are probably
we're getting a lot more interest. We had to add some of those buying options just so we've had a lot more interest for small business. Maybe it's a 5-person legal shop, or we've had folks in the in the healthcare space where people have, like nurses and things like that, where they've got to pull up imagery and patient records and things like that. And so, or we've had universities that need to maintain control of their assets, their research assets, yet they need to have mobile access and sharing because they're collaborating with people across the globe. And so they can't put it up in cloud storage because they need to maintain control, but they want to be able to buy it, say, for 20 people or 30 people or 50 people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's great because companies will want this type of thing.
Right.
What are the future things going to go on? I know you came out with some new features and you're probably, bringing out some new ones, but can you talk about any new features?
Sure. So in this latest round, we had a lot of people requesting things like additional playlist support. So you'll find We actually support multi-user playlists. So say I share some music, between 3 or 4 friends, I can create a playlist that references 3 or 4 different people's content, musical content. So that capability is there. We've got much better sharing from the mobile devices, so you can share through Facebook now. So if you want to, say you wanted to share back through Facebook high resolution content, right? Facebook dumbs everything down. All the photos are all dumbed down. We actually have a Facebook connector that allows you to share up to Facebook, and that actually transcodes the photos and pushes them up into a new folder if you want to, very easily. You don't have to use the Facebook uploader. You just tell us what to do. We go pull the content, transcode it, and put it in the folder for you, all without you, all behind the scenes, and you can get up and walk away, and we just do it for you.
Nice.
But the problem with that is that the photos that are up there still aren't at print quality. So one of the new features is the ability to share back through Facebook. So you'll have a wall post that'll happen on your Facebook page. People can click through that, and it comes right back into Homepipe, and they can get full high-resolution access to those photos in the case that they want to print them or share them or download them. And so we can share now, directly into Facebook. We can share through Facebook. We can share via SMS. You can share via email. And that content is not on your device that you're sharing from, your mobile device. It's, at home, it's at work, it's wherever, its content source is. So the exception with that is obviously if it's something that's been shared to you, we don't let you're not the author, you're not the owner of that content, and so sharing for things that have been shared to you are disabled, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sort of. Actually, yeah. So it's yeah, I definitely understand that, but when you say sharing music, it sort of makes me cringe a little bit.
Yep.
And I'm sure the RIAA would say the same thing. Yeah. Let's go a little bit deeper than that. Like, what exactly are we sharing? I mean, and what can people access when you share music?
So what they do is when they actually access that music, what we do is we actually stream it back to that one individual. So it's not like we're moving the content. So one of the big ways that people use us is they have iTunes at home, but for whatever reason, maybe they don't like their carrier. They don't have an an iPhone on AT&T, right? So they have an Android phone, but they have iTunes at home. So their entire iTunes library can be streamed at any time back to their mobile device. So you just start selecting what songs you want to listen to, and they get queued up, and it streams them to your phone.
So the legality is that you're not actually physically moving the content.
Correct.
Okay. That's smart. I like that. Wow. Well, I mean, how can people get a hold of you or sign up at Homepipe?
Yeah, the easiest way is to just go to www.homepipe.net. There's a sign up on that front page. Yep. You put in your email address, you'll get an invitation. You accept the invitation and create your password, and you're in. You can install, you can set up. You can use it, up to the monthly duration, so if you can use it 10 times a month and wait for the next month, kind of in a Pandora-like model, where you get 10 more uses each month. And then if you want to upgrade, there's upgrade options either in the web app or in the mobile apps. On the iPhone, there's in-app upgrades, so it just ends up right on your bill. So there's a number of different ways that you can use it, and then you can refer a friend, you can share stuff with other people, and hopefully get a lot of value out of it.
I like that. I like that a lot. Well, Chris, thank you very much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Likewise. Thank you.
Okay, you have a good night.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was Chris Hopen, CEO of Homepipe.net. What a great service, and it's very convenient to have him talking to him about this because, we mentioned about other stuff that about cloud-based music and stuff like that, which I'll be talking about in a few minutes. But before that, I want to get talking about our sponsor, Audible.com. They are the leading provider of downloadable digital audiobooks and spoken word entertainment. They have over 75,000 titles to choose from. And pretty much what it is it's a book read to you out loud. And, we always used to get read to when we were children. It's another way to get your reading in. You're driving you have a long commute, you can listen to a book. You're working out in the gym, you can listen to a book. You're cooking dinner, you can listen to a book. All the different times when you just can't pick up a book physically and read it. Well, the book I'm reading right now, or listening to, people like to say reading, the book I am listening to, if I can find it here, is called, get my screen up, The Accidental Billionaires. Basically, pretty much how the founding of Facebook. And now I read another book called The Facebook Effect, but this one right here is where the Social Network movie came from. Really interesting book. It's 7 hours and 23 minutes, and it can be yours for free. To go try Audible, go to audiblepodcast.com and try Audible today. Oh, audiblepodcast.com/techwithmike. Don't forget the /techwithmike, or we won't get credit for it. That book could be yours for free, and if you decide, Audible's not for you, which I know it is for you. It's for everybody who likes to read. If you decide you don't want it, you can cancel at any time, and you keep that free book. And that is it. So audiblepodcast.com/techwithmike. Go there today, get your free book. Now, as I said, having Homepipe on was very convenient because I wanted to talk about a few things that are happening out in the wonderful world of the cloud. Wish I should have put some echo on there. The cloud. Okay, so there are, all of a sudden, Apple announced that they were doing this thing called the iCloud. And we'll talk about that in a second. And then all of a sudden, all these other services came out of the woodwork. We'll talk about them. And the first one I want to talk about is Google Music. It's currently in beta right now. I actually got an invite to try it out, and it's actually pretty slick. I was didn't really want to do it because they don't offer an iOS app, and for obvious reasons, I'm sure Apple wouldn't want them to. But it works fine in Safari, at least on the iPad. The iPhone's a little too small to use it. So what it is you upload all your music, your whole collection, your whole library to Google. As it stands now, it's free. It's in beta. And then you can stream all your music to any device you have, a computer, an Android device, there's Android apps, any computer, and to your Safari iOS devices. I thought it works pretty good so far. It's in beta. I've seen a few flaws in it, but I'm sure they're going to work on it. Google. It'll probably be in beta for probably the next 2 years. But if they're smart, they would get this out the door quickly, because Apple is coming out with iCloud, which is going to allow you to do a lot of different features. A lot of different things having to do with syncing your device to the cloud, so all your other devices can synchronize too. But they're going to offer music syncing and all that neat stuff. One thing that they're doing is if you have a song that you ripped off a CD that's low quality, maybe like 128 kilobits, they'll see that you have this file. They don't know where you got the file from, so you think about it. All the pirates out there are going to go do this, but they don't know where you got the file from. They assume you ripped it. Has no DRM on it. They're going to give you a higher quality version of that song. And I think I forget I think it's like $24 a year you pay for this service. You're going to give you high quality of all your songs. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. So look for that in the fall. That'll be available in the fall. And they announced that at their WWDC conference. The next one, which really threw me for a loop, was the service called Best Buy Music Cloud. Yes, that's right. Best Buy is coming out with a music service. Who would have thunk, right? Well, what they're going to do is they're going to, they do sell music in the retail stores, like their CDs. But a lot of companies, like a lot of places are going away from that. And it's all digital. So they're another competitor. And they're still in beta. I've applied for an invitation. I can't wait to get it because I want to try all these services out because I want to be able to tell you, the listeners, the viewers, what is the best choice for you. And I want you to be able to make an educated decision by the input that I give you. And that's what I'm here for, right? Making technology and the internet easier to understand. And I hope I do that good job at that. Please let me know if I don't. Just don't threaten me. I'm scared. No. Okay. Okay. So the last thing. So that's the cloud. I mean, there's other services out there too, but that was why Homepipe was very convenient to have on the show because it shows you another different way you can do your streaming your music, your own collection of music. And maybe if I have in one of my another episode, I can give you a demonstration on how Homepipe works and how all these work really. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is related to Apple. It is about their new operating system. It is called iOS, you guessed it, 5. Not iPhone 5. People are getting confused. I don't think there's a new iPhone coming out, in the fall. They never announced it, but they did announce iOS 5, which is probably preparing for that iPhone 5. But here's a few things that it will have, and here's a screen. If you go to their page, apple.com/iOS/iOS 5, you can see the features. They're going to be improving on things like notifications. Those annoying little push messages you get that jump up in front of a game you're playing in the middle of a game. I never liked that. So they come up with a new notification center, which is going to be a lot like, I've been told, I haven't seen it physically, but a lot like Android's notification center. That's cool. They're going to have an upgraded camera app where you can use your volume control, your up volume control as the shutter release for the camera. Now, remember a while back, the app called Camera Plus had that feature, and they immediately took it out of the store because they didn't want them. I guess in the agreement that the agreement you sign when you develop an app is you can't use the buttons for something else, the volume buttons for something else. But now, guess what? They're doing it. They got the idea from the Camera Plus probably. Great idea. We'll see how it works out. And so they're doing some other tweaks to the camera. Another thing is really cool is say goodbye to your text messaging fees. You can pretty much wipe them out because anybody that has an iOS device, you'll be able to text message for free with iMessage. And if you're familiar with any BlackBerries, devices, they have that BlackBerry Messenger. Very, very similar. You use the same message box as you would for text messaging, and it sends a text message to any iOS device. And if I heard that if you switch devices within a conversation, it'll pick up on the new device. That's a really cool feature. So that's neat. They have a thing called Newsstand where you can get your publications, like your magazines. Like in this picture right here, I'm showing Popular Science, Windsor Not, all these different magazines. National Geographic. If you subscribe to that, you can have it all delivered to that. They're going to have a better way to do to-dos. Better way to do to-dos. So a reminders app, which I'm not too thrilled about, but they're going to have an integrated Twitter app right built into iOS 5. So they know the teens are out there doing tweets all the time, and I do Twitter as well. So, or I'm on the Twitter, as they would say. So that's cool. What else we got here? So you can see the picture of someone holding, but see the cameras. If you hold the camera like that, let me show you. If I take my iPhone out of here, if you hold the camera out like they're showing, that means the camera's on the bottom. If you hold it this way, but typically you would hold the camera like this. I'm not sure how that's going to work. That's gonna make some funky looking pictures. I don't know. We'll see. They're going to have enhanced photos. Photo enhancements so you can edit your photos crop it, touch them up, remove red eye, which I've never seen red eye on an iPhone before, but okay, we can edit it. Let's see. Oh, this is a cool thing. Independence for all your iOS devices. Thank you, Apple. This is long been overdue. It's the ability to synchronize wirelessly. You don't need to have a PC when you get a new iPhone. Remember when you start the new iPhone up, you always had to plug it into iTunes? Well, I don't think you have to anymore after iOS 5. That's great. And also in the middle of the night when you plug your charger in, it'll automatically synchronize and back up to your PC, so all your devices get the information. And they're gonna do some stuff with calendar and Game Center, multitasking gestures for iPad. But you know what? They say there's about 200 new features. Let's wait to see what happens. Maybe I'll throw out a couple new features every show and demonstrate them when the device comes out. I've had a great time on this show. I want to thank again Chris Hopen from Homepipe.net for coming on the show. But that's all I got for you today. I'm so sad. I'm going to cry. Okay, I'm over it. Everybody, until next time, help you later. One thing I am going to cry.